Hello. Have you ever been the victim of financial abuse in a narcissistic relationship? Were you a statistic? So the statistics are that 6 women survivors of domestic abuse have experienced financial abuse. And if that's the case, my heart does go out to you. It's something I suffered from as well. But the statistics don't just stop there. Quite often women who can't find £100 at short notice are 3.5 times more likely to be suffering financial abuse. And 8 in 10 women say it's affected their mental health. And half of the survivors have never had enough money to cover basic essentials for children. And 4 in 10 survivors have felt long-term career prospects were worse because of financial abuse. Keep coming. So 1 in 3 survivors have had to give up their home because of abuse. And 8 in 10 women have experienced this spanning more than 5 years. It's insidious. It can creep up and is not always recognised straight away. In the UK, financial abuse comes under something called coercive control, which is an offence. But financial abuse isn't a standalone abuse. In this kind of relationship, it often goes alongside sexual abuse and maybe addictions too. I'll drop a link in the comments section where you can get some more sort of official advice from the UK government on this subject. So it is a huge subject, and I can only cover some basic understanding of the main points here. And there's far more awareness to be gained on this subject, which I will almost certainly be returning to in the future. Financial abuse is almost synonymous with narcissistic abuse. Not all survivors will have experienced financial abuse in the exact same way, but there are about 6 general strategies that the most financially clever narcissists will use against their victims. I'm going to describe them in this video. For victims, finances, or the subject of finances and money, is often cloaked in shame. And for your information, if this has happened to you, then it's not your fault. But this mindset was probably acquired in childhood and then exacerbated by the perpetrator to create conditions for financial abuse to take place and get worse. So give yourself some grace if this has happened to you. So the abuse can be overt, that means really obvious in nature, and also covert, very secretive. And it's not one size fits all. Often victims don't realise how controlled they are until they are deep in the abuse. Google boiled frog syndrome to explain this a little bit more. So coercive control of finances is now recognised in UK law, and it carries a prison sentence of up to 5 years and unlimited fines. So this happened to me just as I realised as I was going through my divorce. If I'd had the energy to fight it in the courts, something might have come of it, as I did have documentary proof that it had been going on. But I just wanted to get out of the relationship as quickly as possible for my own safety and sanity. And that's basically how I lost my home. So I was a statistic too. I was exploited financially in the divorce financial settlement too. But I'm grateful to have my life back on track now, and in future videos I will continue to explain more about how we can recover from this experience. So financially clever and astute narcissists will carry out their financial control in the following ways. So number 1, they control the finances, and this is a general umbrella term for everything they do to take over your personal financial authority. It's about their calculation and manipulation over time. And in the early days of the relationship, you may feel financially safe because they seem to be so good at managing finances and they may make you feel bad for thinking you are so terrible at it. You are triggered to feel shame around finances. And at this point, you have given your financial power to the narcissist, and that is how they have set you up for further control tactics as time goes on. Does that sound familiar? So number 2, financial gaslighting is also a common tactic. Check out my video to explain gaslighting in controlling relationships for a bit more understanding on that issue. But they will cause you to believe that you did something that you have no recollection of, twisting the truth to make out it was your fault, some kind of financial decision, for example, that you both made from some time in the past, but they have put a spin on it and make you at fault and them the victim, and it's something that they might have dredged it from the past. So this is confusing to you, and you also feel shamed further, and this reduces your power and authority even more, and it increases their control over you. So creating an imbalance of financial authority and power, but it's never in your favour. So number 3, sabotaging employment. And this can go either of 2 ways. Some narcissists don't want their partners to work and put pressure on them to end their career and stay at home. Others may pressurise you to take or make decisions about your career that go against what you really want to do. And this form of control has very long-lasting effects because the narcissist isn't interested in your career. They just want to control your money and earning potential to serve their purposes. Often victims can only assess the damage many years down the line after they have gained full awareness of their abuse and see that they did not fulfill their career potential. Number 4, financial monitoring. This can be insidious and pervasive, and it can happen openly, or it can be done really secretly using electronic means to control banking apps and breaching your personal online securities, or both. If overt, you will be questioned and called to account for any expenses, including grocery bills and fuel bills. It might even be carried out under the guise of reconciling bank statements, etc. And at first it may seem reasonable, but becomes more and more a feature of financial abuse over the years. For example, I had to justify paying for children's clothes and shoes. And it makes me feel triggered to think of that now. Number 5, financial double standards. And again, this may have an overt or a covert manifestation, but you may get to see spending on the abuser's part as something you wouldn't be allowed to spend on. In my situation, it was secret spending, and when I gained an awareness of it, it was a bit like his house of cards. It came down a little bit. I was getting awareness of ongoing scams, which is how he was operating. It was his MO. And it was validated later when I discovered he was doing this also to other women after and during the divorce. So also this may involve the abuser setting up secret bank accounts and siphoning off money to them. That happened as well. There is probably no end to different and appalling ways in which this aspect shows up in financial abuse, so maybe there's something of that resonates with you. Another feature is actually creating debt. I experienced this post-separation. It was relatively small scale, but did affect my credit score. And it can have much more devastating effects for victims due to the much larger amounts that may be involved, running to tens or hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars. So in the process of separation, I had left an old media account, for example, open in my name, that was allowed to go into bad credit, which I'd been unaware of. I later tried to get some accountability from the company that they had followed someone else they had allowed someone else to control my account, but it didn't really come to anything. So I just put the whole thing down to experience and used it to understand finances a lot more. And this is the key to getting better after narcissistic financial abuse. It's going to be the subject of more training videos in the future. So I know the effects can be devastating of financial abuse. So you may now know for sure if you've become a victim, or maybe you just have received some confirmation. So what do you do about it? How can you heal? Well, you can. I have done. It's an ongoing process, but you must heal that. And by healing, I mean active healing, actually doing something about it. So the thing that is so important to understand is how you became vulnerable to financial abuse in the first place. And this requires inner work to understand what your limiting beliefs are about money, what your subconscious beliefs are about money. And I'll talk about this more in future videos, but I do recommend that you start Googling all you can about money blocks and beliefs. The effects of your limiting money beliefs show up as feeling shame about managing money, shame about having money, feeling a sense of low self-esteem around money, feeling financially unsafe around money, feeling resentful about money, feeling scarcity about money. So this experience of becoming aware of the reasons why I was vulnerable to financial abuse was a revelation to me when I started working on myself in recovery, that I actually had money beliefs that were actually a thing. I had no idea before. I thought it incredible that I could change my money beliefs in my subconscious mind. And that was the beginning of my powerful transformation. So it was a massive breakthrough for me. We heal from the inside out, and that is the cure to start healing from the effects of financial abuse. It's also important to accept the experience as a lesson in finances. And in order for you to take your financial power and authority back, you have to understand how you lost it in the first place. This is really essential. So I want you to know that the power of your recovery and transformation comes from healing yourself on this issue and not becoming obsessed about all the ways that narcissists abuse their victims. The focus, as always, and this is the message of this channel, is to be on yourself. You must focus on you if you're ever going to get free from the effects of narcissism. So please don't get caught in the trap of believing that the more you know about narcissists, the less you will be a target for them, because the opposite of this is true. The golden rule of healing is that you should spend 90% of your time and energy on healing you and only 10% on fact-finding about narcissists. And just as a little postscript to this, as an antidote to financial abuse experience, it's a very wise thing to take action and get knowledgeable and empowered around the subject of your personal finances. Become an expert in it, obsess about it, leave the narcissist alone. So this is how I got free forever in 6 months, and it's time to put yourself as a priority. So if any of this video resonates and you would like to know more about this topic and how to heal from financial abuse, drop me a comment below or click like and subscribe to my channel and be notified of further videos. These will help you get free from this experience. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.